All right, hello and welcome back. We are continuing our Party Like a Pro series with part 3. And let me go ahead and start our slideshow here. All right. All right, so part 3 is avoid self-destruction. The quote for this one, I love this one. I was gratified to answer promptly, and I did. I said, I don't know. That's Mark Twain. That's a good one. All right. All right, so avoid self-destruction. There are 5 common sources of self-destruction. 1, expert overload. 2, speaking versus communicating. 3, lack of audience control. 4, credibility issues. And 5, information overload. So let's start with expert overload. This is where you recite only information that you have read or heard from other people and have no practical knowledge. This is where using your products and gaining your own experience is going to go a really long way. It's important to know some of those facts as you learn them, to use them, but you don't want to overly use them. You don't want to only be spouting out things that you've heard, read, or that kind of thing. You want to be able to give them real live knowledge, right? So, for example, for me to tell you, okay, so this is the Fridge Smart. It has a valve on the top to allow it to vent. The paperwork says that it's going to keep your fruits and vegetables longer than normal by, by 3 weeks to 6 weeks, whatever, right? So instead of telling you just that, instead I say, you know what? I've tried the Fridge Smart and I absolutely love them. I tested them because I kind of wanted to know how they work. And I did strawberries in there and I was totally amazed. I had strawberries and raspberries and blueberries all in the same container, and I vented it the way that it said to vent it, so on low. I was amazed because after 2 weeks, they were still good. And after 4 weeks, they were slightly wilted, but they were still yummy. We cut them up. We made like a shortcake out of them. They were super yummy. So now, all of a sudden, I have my own credibility and my own expertise because I've tried it and I've done it. And it helps bring me into the realm of a real person. I'm no longer just that sales lady trying to sell you stuff. All of a sudden, I'm this really this really down-to-earth person who experiences life the exact same way that you do. And this is why I love this product. And this is how this product is so beneficial to me. So it's absolutely fantastic to be able to have your own experiences, but you actually have to have your own experiences to share them. So it's important to tell them, the Fridge Smart are going to keep your fruits and vegetables good for 6 to 10 times longer. That's great to have that statistics, and people want to hear it, but they also want to hear the real live application. How is this product so beneficial in the real world, not just on paper? Speaking versus communicating. Effective speaking builds dialogue, where people feel like they are a part of the conversation, not just being talked at. Okay, so thinking and responding for the audience, it's basically addressing the audience's needs and their questions before they actually verbalize them out loud. So for example, as I talk about the Fridge Smart and telling everyone about the features and the benefits, I know that one question is very, very common. What would I put in that, right? So I might say something like, so what could you put in this? I like to put strawberries in the small deep, asparagus in the medium shallow, and lettuce is perfect for the medium deep, right? So I've said the question out loud so they know what I'm talking about, and I'm also answering that question at the same time. So they have those questions in their head. Like after you've done enough parties, you kind of see what that rhythm is, what those questions are, and so you can start to answer them before they ever even ask them. You can even just straight up ask, what are some fruits and vegetables that you have in your house right now? Listen to what they say, and then show them, oh, that would be great in the Fridge Smart medium deep, or that would be great in this one, the Fridge Smart small deep. The best thing for that is our Fridge Smart medium deep, right? So you're listening to what they're saying and you're giving them suggestions based on their exact needs. So either way, it's about communicating with them, not speaking at them, not just telling them. Lack of audience control. This is a pretty common problem, especially for new consultants, and one that you're going to gain with more experience. You're going to get better at controlling the audience. But you just have to remember that you are responsible for the agenda and the emotions of the room. So if you do lose control of the room, don't panic. You just want to make sure that you regain control of the group and help focus them and move them forward. So for example, if maybe somebody asks a question and you start to answer it and somebody else also starts to answer it, right? And so all of a sudden everybody's kind of chit-chatting because they're all trying to answer the one person's question. Bring it back to that original question, answer the question, and move forward. Okay, so it's just about regaining control of the room, and we're gonna discuss this a little bit more in a little bit more detail in some later sections of our Party Like a Pro series. All right, but at the end of the day, just remember it's all about keeping them engaged. The more involved they are, the less talkative they are, and you can stay in control of that room. Credibility issues. There is absolutely no crime in saying I don't know. Please make sure that it is in your vocabulary, right? Say it right now. I don't know. Do it. I know it sounds silly. Just do it. Say it out loud. I don't know. And it's totally okay to say that. If there is a fatal flaw at all, it's in trying to answer a question you don't know the answer to. If you start guessing and somebody catches you guessing, you've lost all credibility. All. Even on the things that you are totally knowledgeable about, no one will believe you because they caught you guessing on something else. So just don't do it. Just simply say, you know what? I don't know. That is a really great question. Let me write that down real quick because I want to figure that out too, and I want to get back to you on that. And feel free to write it down. Have a notebook handy. Use those index cards. On the back of one of those index cards, write that question down. Or even give her the index card and have her write that question on the back of it because you want to make sure that you find out the answer to that for her and for yourself. And then get back to her with it. It's a great reason to call her back. All right? So don't ever fear the words I don't know. It's totally fine to not know. Just make sure you find out the answer and then you'll know for next time. Right? It's that same concept here again, where you're going to set small goals and you're going to build on it, right? The thing you're going to build on this party is what was the question that you didn't know the answer to. Find out the answer and you can move forward. All right? Information overload. The more knowledge you have about a specific product, the more you're going to want to share with everybody. And especially if it's a product you've just recently gained knowledge on, you want to tell them everything because you are so excited. And it's great that you have all that knowledge because someone might ask you a question and you're going to want to, it's going to feel good to be able to answer those questions. However, they don't need to know everything about every single product all the time. It's too much. They get overwhelmed, they get frustrated, and they lose focus. And then you start losing control of your group. You're, losing control of the crowd. So what should you tell people about the products, right? Keep it to the basic features and benefits, right? What are the basic features? How will this product benefit me specifically? And most important, how is it going to save me time and money? If they have additional questions they can ask, and you can answer them if you know the answer or let them know you don't know. Whichever way is totally fine. If it's more involved or if it's very, very specific to that person, feel free to invite them to come and talk to you afterward, and then you can explain it in more detail to them. But for now, you're going to move forward, okay? So just be careful not to tell them everything you know about a product because trust me, it's tempting. You get so excited, you start going on a rampage of all this knowledge, and all of a sudden you're like, no one is paying attention to me. And it's not because you're not interesting, and it's not because they don't want to listen to you. It's because there's so much information, their minds have been blown. All right? So keep it simple. Keep it to the 3 basics, and then answer questions as needed. I like a person who bubbles over with enthusiasm. Better to be a geyser than a mud puddle. Isn't that a good one? I love that one. right? Better to be a geyser than a mud puddle. Have you ever met somebody that's a stick in the mud and you're like, ah, right? So, or you've met that other one, right? That one that's excitable and you're just like, oh my gosh, I wish I could be like her, right? And those positive affirmations are going to help you to be that geyser. All right, so for this one, our review actually goes back to parts 1, 2, and 3. And I really, really encourage you to print this off and to do this worksheet because it's really going to help you to not only have heard all of the training that I've given you in parts 1, 2, and 3 of this series, but it's going to help to really instill it into you, right? So what was the emphasis of part 1? What was the major emphasis of part 2 and part 3? What are the most important things that you've learned so far? How can you apply what you've learned right now? What are 3 actions that you're going to take to make these improvements? So what are 3 things that you can do that are really going to start you on this path of success, this path of overcoming your fears, of having good presentation, right? To be able to not have any self-destruction, all those. How can you be held accountable for the actions that you're planning to take? And what changes would you like to see in yourself within the next year? Most important of all, remember you're never alone. That the best way to overcome fear is to just tackle it head on. And I know you can do it, right? I've done it. I know lots of other people that can do it, but you got to just start right now. You got to take those actions. You got to have the positive affirmations. And when those negative Nellies, those gremlins start creeping into your head, recognize it, stop it, and move forward. All right, guys, that's all that I have for you for part 3 of our series. I'm so excited to continue this series. There's so much great knowledge here, and I know that you're going to really be able to improve on your Tupperware parties and on your own personal self-confidence as well. And at the end of the day, that's the most important. Have a wonderful day, and if you haven't already done so, please make sure to subscribe below, above, wherever it's at, so that you can see all of our videos on our Party Like a Pro series, as well as any other videos that I've done so far. So thanks so much, and have a great day, guys. Bye!